Guidelines for household help in a Jewish home. What is kosher? Many people believe that kosher means the food was blessed by a rabbi. But this is not true. Kosher refers to the set of religious guidelines followed by Jewish families that wish to keep a kosher home. Kosher food can be broken up into 3 categories. 1. Always kosher. Raw fruits and vegetables that have not been processed. 2. Never kosher. The Bible prohibits certain foods for Jews who keep a kosher home, including but not limited to shellfish, fish without both fins and scales, ham, and all pork products. 3. Kosher supervised. These are foods that are kosher when produced under the authority of a rabbi or kosher certification agency who ensure that ingredients and food processing procedures meet kosher dietary requirements. Kosher also includes a prohibition against mixing meat and dairy products. Even if you have kosher meat and kosher dairy, they cannot be eaten or even cooked together in any circumstances. The kitchen. Because of kosher requirements, Jewish kosher kitchens may be set up differently than you are used to or expect. Please do not bring your own food or utensils into the kitchen without asking first. If there is something you need, please let the patient or family know. In the kitchen, you'll notice that meat and dairy food and equipment are completely separated. They are not cooked, stored, or served together. A kosher kitchen may have special dishes, pots, silverware, and utensils for dairy, and an entirely separate set of everything for meat. The 2 sets are kept completely separate and are not even washed together in the sink. Some kitchens may even have separate counters, ovens, and sinks for meat and dairy. Please keep the meat and dairy dishes, products, and equipment separate. Everything prepared on meat dishes is considered meat, and everything prepared on dairy dishes is considered dairy. Some kosher kitchens may also have some dishes that are not used with dairy or meat, but only for parev neutral foods. These dishes are washed separately and kept away from both dairy and meat. So, to keep things organized in the kitchen, when you are asked to help cook, please ask before using a utensil or dish so that you don't use a dairy utensil with a meat food or a meat utensil with a dairy food. If you do make a mistake, please tell the patient or family immediately, even before washing off the utensil that was used with the wrong kind of food. They will be grateful that you told them. When you are washing dishes, please do not add a new dish or utensil to the pile of dirty dishes, since you may accidentally add an item of the wrong kind. In homes with 2 sinks, dairy dishes are to be washed in the dairy sink only, and meat dishes in the meat sink only. If there is only 1 sink, make sure the dishes never touch the sink. The patient will also use separate sponges and brushes. Please make sure to ask which sponge to use when washing the dishes. At times, you may encounter other necessary guidelines for a kosher home. For example, the patient may not want you to turn on the stove and oven. This is not because they don't trust you. It is part of keeping a kosher kitchen. Please ask before turning on the stove or oven. Another important part of your patient's Jewish home life is Shabbos. From before sundown on Friday until nightfall on Saturday evening, many observant Jews celebrate their Sabbath, which they call Shabbos. On Shabbos, Jewish people eat large meals and rest from doing many kinds of work. This prohibited work includes things like talking on the phone, handling money, writing, cooking, or even turning on the lights. You should be aware that many household tasks may be avoided or changed on Shabbos. 1. Because the patient will not be checking their phone on Shabbos, they will not see any calls, texts, or emails. 2. If you are helping out on Shabbos, you may be asked to perform tasks that they cannot do themselves, such as adjusting the thermostat. Sometimes they will not ask you to do it directly, but hint at what needs to be done. So if they say, "It's so dark in here," it means that they want you to turn on the lights. 3. Except when you are told to, whether directly or through hints, please do not adjust the lights on Shabbos, since the patient may be left with a brightly lit bedroom or a dark dining room that they are prohibited from changing themselves. Throughout the year, there are a number of Jewish holidays. There are many Jewish holidays, each with its own set of traditions and foods. Many share the same restrictions as Shabbos: no telephones, lights, or similar forms of work. However, there are some differences between each Jewish holiday. Here are two that will probably be most significant to you. 1. Passover, or Pesach, is an 8-day holiday in the spring. Its most important feature is that Jewish people have a restriction on the foods they eat. They avoid all bread, crackers, or anything else made of flour that has risen, which is called chametz. Before Passover, they clean their entire home to make sure that there is no bread or wheat products anywhere in the house. This is a very thorough cleaning and may disrupt the usual household or family schedule until it's complete. Once they've cleaned everything, they will cover many kitchen surfaces and use a whole new set of dishes, cutlery, and utensils specifically for Passover. In addition to the regular meat and dairy restrictions, they will now be on guard to make sure that no bread or wheat products enters their home. Please do not bring any outside food whatsoever into their home during Passover, even if it does not contain wheat or bread. In some homes, there may be wheat products locked away in a sealed cabinet for the duration of Passover. Please make sure that those cabinets stay closed the entire holiday. 2. Sukkot, or Sukkos, is in the fall. During this holiday, the kitchen will remain as is, but they will be dining outdoors in a special branch-covered hut called a sukkah. Don't worry, it only lasts a week, and then they move back inside. Your patient may ask you to help set up meals outside for them throughout this holiday. We are all blessed to live in a country where we can practice our religions freely. We ask that you please respect the traditions of your Jewish patients and do your best to accommodate their religious wishes. If you are unsure about your patient's kosher or religious requirements, feel free to ask them any questions needed to make sure you are assisting them in the best way possible. As always, we thank you for your understanding and hard work.